interesting and work that is valued and appreciated. There's also self-esteem or status as another motivator. And finally, once those others have been satisfied, a bit of a mouthful, self-actualizing. When people are making a contribution to the team or the organisation that they feel is particularly the contribution that is uniquely theirs, or they have special skills, knowledge, aptitude for delivering. So within your own work, can you see where presumably in any organisation or team with which you work, there will be things where people do expect a reasonable salary. But there's more to it than that. What else motivates people in organisations with which you're familiar? Title, and that would fit in where, you know, around perhaps self-esteem and status. And I don't know enough about this, but am I right in saying that in some parts of Europe, in America, your job title can be a very important part of the overall package of what you do? Okay. Any other things that motivate people apart from merely money? Sorry, yes?
Feeling that they're good at what they're doing.
Yes, I think that, you know, feeling good about it is somewhere up around the even self-actualizing.
Changing the world.
What do you mean by that, James?
Well, I think that the team that worked on the Macintosh, that Steve Jobs drove like a slave driver for months and months and months, they were under a lot of pressure, and at some point they weren't doing it for themselves, they were doing it because they really believed that they were going to do something that would change.
Yeah, but there's that camaraderie that comes from a team really working perhaps under a fair amount of pressure. Okay. Well, again, sorry, one more?
Discovery, self-discovery?
Yes, again, up around the, you know, the self-actualizing. I was recently in conversation with one of my colleagues. He turned around to me and said, "Arthur, you're self-actualizing again." You know, and you know, just because I was sharing enthusiasm for things that were particularly on my agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, I think earlier that I'm in introducing myself, I'm not very interested in sport, but is there anybody in this room who is interested in sport? Mr. Pickering? Yes? Anybody else? The sporty people all seem to cluster at the top there. But if you think about a sports team, or is there anybody in the room who's musical?
Oh, yeah.
Musical? Are you a singer, or do you play in a choir or orchestra? Sorry?
Singer.
By yourself or in a choir? Both. Yes. Well, my point, my pedagogical point here is, as we move on, I want to look at the work of a guy called Meredith Belbin and find out a little bit more about him. He's been working in England since the 1970s, and he's been looking at what makes teams work effectively together, but he's been looking at how different individuals in a team can make different contributions. For example, if you have an orchestra, you will need people who are good at percussion. You need people who are good at wind instruments. You need people who are good in all the different instruments that make up the orchestra for that particular piece of music. And you need a conductor to keep everyone playing harmoniously together. So too, if you're talking about sport, everyone can't be David Beckham. Or who's this gentleman? Who was Mr. Wilkinson?
Who is?
Who is? Yeah. Lord? He's a rugby player.
Genius.
Well, he cannot do his work of genius with his golden boot and kick World Cup winning tries and so on in the last minute unless he has lots of other people on the team making their contribution. Now, I'm not sporty, but I know that you need in a rugby team people who are very fast out on the wing. You need thin people who are good at jumping in the lineouts. And you need the short little dumpy ones who are very good in the scrum. You need all these people to make an effective cup-winning rugby team. And what Belbin has looked at is the different contributions that people make to teams. Belbin's still going and has produced, now this is the language he uses. And again, it's part of the vocabulary, the idiolect of the modern manager. Some people are plants, implementers, completer finishers, monitor evaluators. And he goes down through the list and looks at what they are. Originally there were 8, now there are 9, where there's a specialist role added on. But in the hope that things... well, first of all, 1 minute, talk to the person beside you. Have you heard of Belbin before, or is this new to you? Right? All new. Mm-hmm.